I connect with like looking at communion as snack time because I started taking communion as a kid, and during, Sunday school, whenever it was time for communion, I was just excited. I'm like, finally, there's snacks. And so, I'm so grateful for the mercy of God because I definitely did not do it with understanding in the beginning. But I think everything shifted for me because even if I'm honest, even as I got older, the moment of communion just seemed like a religious practice. Like it was like, okay, this is what we do on Communion Sunday. But there was a particular morning though that I kept feeling this pull by the Holy Spirit to commune. And I was like, okay, I'm at home. This is not Communion Sunday. It's not even Sunday. And I'm like, God, I'm having communion by myself. I don't understand that. And so as I got led to the scriptures, I started reading, even when Jesus told the disciples, do this in remembrance of me. Yeah. And it really struck my heart that he was talking to people that had an experience of him. They had a relationship with him. They had watched him. They had, to some degree, an understanding of his identity. And it hit me that before taking communion, there's something that it's pointing me back to. And that is the identity of who Jesus is, what he represents to my life. And it really brought me to such a humbling moment because it almost like it activated my faith for alignment, with where my life is and in reflection to who Jesus is. And so as I began to commune, I began to pray. Even through the communion, I said, Lord, I'm in covenant with you. Yeah, there is nothing that has the power to limit me because in this moment, I'm not only remembering your sacrifice, but I'm remembering also your power. I'm remembering who you are in the truth of your identity. And so communion to me is so powerful that it brought me into that moment of alignment with what God has spoken over my life. And so I think coming into the understanding of it really is a game changer.
Yeah. That's so true. This morning I took it sitting by myself in front of my fireplace. So I'm one of those that I'll order the box of communion cups. Yeah. And Matt and I take it as much. But what I've kind of learned to do is, because you could spend an eternity sitting here talking about what happened at the cross for us.
Right.
Jesus did it completely. He saved us completely. Holy, there is nothing more to be done for our salvation, for our healing, for our redemption, anything. He took it all. He paid it all. So Joseph Prince, who is just, I love listening to him teach about communion, but he has kind of taught us all that if you're having issues in your body or in your mind or anything, complete, whatever your issue is, he said, take it like you would a supplement. Remind Jesus what he did for us. We are to do it in remembrance of what he has done for us. Right. He bled for us. He took it, every iniquity, all the shame, all the guilt, all the sickness, all the disease, he took it for us. And we do this in remembrance of what he has done for us. Right. He redeemed us at the cross. He set us free at the cross. So what I've done is, especially in times when maybe I need healing in my body, I've been dealing with a lung issue. So I've been doing this regimen of vitamins and maybe a little therapy. Well, I am going to take communion more than I take that for sure. Right. So every time I think about it, every time I have a second, I'll go in that kitchen, I'll reach into my little dish and I'll grab my communion. I just walk in the other room kind of by myself and I remember what Jesus has done for me. Right. And I love that because it keeps my heart saying, you know what, I don't have to deal with this because you dealt with it fully, wholly, and completely already.
I love what you mentioned, even just like how communion, it's sacred and it's also, and it's personal because these are personal moments that we have with the Lord. And that's why it really stems from that place of relationship. There was a time that I was ministering communion for our church. And while I was doing it, I just felt this leading to pray into healing. Now, at the time, I'm praying into healing healing, but I was having severe joint pains. And then I was like, Lord, even as I'm calling upon you because of the power of communion, I'm taking it also. I'm partaking of this moment. And I'm remembering that, Lord, you're a healer, and you will do also for me what I'm believing you would do for those that are amongst us. And as I took it, like instantly, it felt like the hand of God just came upon me, and that pain went away. And so it's so beautiful, like as we are all sharing these stories about just the power of God in those moments, because it's about recognizing that he is amongst us.
Yes.
And it is the fullness of who Jesus is. There's nothing that can limit him.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe today and you'll never miss a new upload.
And don't forget to check out our Better Together shop. Thanks for being a part of our community.